Prince Albert II of Monaco is one of the most scandalous figures in the world of royalty. From his arranged marriage and love children to recent legal troubles, his life is shrouded in mystery. Most of the questions are about his personal life. Albert was officially a bachelor until his late 40s, and although he seemed to enjoy that lifestyle, the prince had no choice but to settle down and produce heirs to the throne. But finding the one proved to be challenging, so he allegedly agreed to an arranged marriage. Furthermore, reports suggest that Albert made a promise to his late father, Prince Rainier III, that he would embrace family life. In fact, he once candidly stated this commitment in public: "I'll get married when Rainier dies." The timelines of his accession and relationship with Charlene matched perfectly. Prince Rainier III passed away in 2005, and Albert took the throne. It was in this very year that he began dating Charlene Wittstock. There was also no sign that Albert's choice was random. The two had known each other for some time due to their shared involvement in sports. Charlene was a professional swimmer and had competed in the Olympic Games. Albert was also an avid sportsman. He was a member of the Principality's bobsled team and a 5-time Olympian. Nice foundation for a budding romance, right? Or some juicy tabloid fodder, at least. However, there's another intriguing detail to this relationship. Royal fans have drawn comparisons between Charlene and Albert's mother, Grace Kelly. Charlene initially seemed as charming as the late actress. Maybe Albert hoped that his bride would replicate the triumphs of his mother during the 1950s. Last but not least, Charlene is 2 decades younger than Prince Albert. It made her a promising candidate for producing heirs to the throne. In 2010, the prince proposed. A year later, the tiny Mediterranean country arranged a lavish 3-day wedding celebration. However, the buzz in the press nearly overshadowed it. Some French tabloids suggested that it was nothing more than a practical arrangement. Charlene was reportedly having second thoughts about it. Reporters stated that she made not 1, not 2, but 3 attempts to escape Monaco and go back to her homeland, South Africa. On one occasion, she even sought refuge in the South African embassy. However, it's said that the prince's entourage confiscated her passport before she could leave. To ensure Charlene went through with the marriage, Albert reportedly entered into an ultra-confidential contract with her. This contract required her to fulfill her royal duties, act as a happy wife in public, and, of course, produce heirs to the throne. Princess Charlene successfully met this requirement, as in 2014 she gave birth to twins, Jacques and Gabriella. What is the price of playing the role of the royal wife? Prince Albert reportedly pays Charlene an eye-watering $12 million annually. That's above and beyond her provisions from the royal budget. Now, it's not surprising that the media have labeled their marriage fake. The couple, along with their 2 children, have hardly appeared together in public in recent years. And on the rare occasions they do, it seems challenging for them to display genuine affection for each other. At the Rugby World Cup 2023 in France this September, Albert put his arm around his wife's shoulder. But they both looked uncomfortable, as well as about kissing each other, or simply holding hands. At times, it appears as though they are mere strangers. Surprisingly, this perception holds some truth. Reports suggest that the royal couple has spent the majority of their 12-year-long marriage living apart. Albert and their children reside in the royal palace in Monaco, while Charlene allegedly spends a lot of time in Switzerland, miles away from her husband. What's more, locals claim that even when Charlene is in Monaco, she prefers to stay in her private apartment rather than the palace. This separation has persisted since the early days of the couple's marriage. They even spent their honeymoon in separate hotels. Albert and Charlene went to South Africa after their wedding in 2011, but Albert stayed at the Hilton in Durban, while Charlene opted for a suite at another hotel far from her husband. You might be wondering why the prince chose to marry someone he didn't seem eager to spend time with. Perhaps he hoped that projecting the image of a perfect family to the public would help maintain his reputation. Unfortunately, he has largely ruined that, mainly because of his promiscuous lifestyle. The media claim the royal threw the loudest parties in all of Europe. There was always lots of alcohol and fun. According to his friend, the now monarch once playfully pushed all 35 guests into a pool, just to ramp up the evening's festivities. For several decades, Albert was also known as the Playboy Prince. Since his teenage years, he has enjoyed the company of various ladies. He had several high-profile love interests, too, such as Deborah Moore, the daughter of the famous James Bond actor Roger Moore, and Lisa Marie Presley, whose father was music legend. Albert's dating history also includes beauties like Claudia Schiffer, Naomi Campbell, Brooke Shields, and many others. However, his romantic choices sometimes raised eyebrows. In the 1990s, adult film star Terry Weigel claimed to have had a brief romance with the Prince of Monaco. As Albert's list of lovers grew, he often became the subject of jokes on television. Sadly, the consequences of his lifestyle were not funny. In 1992, American waitress Tamara Rotolo filed a lawsuit against the Monegasque royal. She alleged that Albert was the father of her newborn daughter, Jasmine. The legal battle stretched over 14 years. When the prince finally agreed to a DNA test, it confirmed he was the father. After the story became public, Albert invited Jasmine to study in Monaco and agreed to support her. Today, Jasmine Grace Grimaldi is 31 years old, pursuing a career in music and television. But she is not in line for the throne, as she was born out of wedlock. And Jasmine isn't the prince's only illegitimate child. In the 2000s, it turned out that Albert had an enduring romance with flight attendant Nicole Cost. It resulted in the birth of their son Alexander in 2003. This time, Albert accepted the boy without a legal battle. However, like his eldest sister, Alexander is not included in the line of succession. Despite their status, the children are regular guests at the Monaco Palace and have a good relationship with each other. Interestingly, Jasmine and Alexandra may have other siblings. Over the years, numerous women have claimed to have had children from brief encounters with Prince Albert. The latest court process happened in 2020. A 34-year-old woman claimed that she is raising Albert's daughter. What's more, when this lady got pregnant, she was only 16 years old. But the prince reportedly refused to do another DNA test. A lot of people thought he was afraid to discover yet another child. Albert once ironically said of the rumors about his love children, "If I listened to all the claims, I would have more children than anybody else in the world." However, it isn't only Prince Albert's private life that stirs up scandals. There are problems with the way he runs Monaco, too. When he ascended the throne in 2005, following his father, he vowed to cleanse Monaco's image, but it appears he may not have fulfilled that promise. Over the past 2 years, a mysterious website has unveiled corruption schemes and frauds within Monaco. These allegations involve hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of dollars. Who is to blame? Almost every person in Prince Albert's inner circle, like his longtime personal wealth manager, Claude Palmero, and Chief of Staff, Laurent Anselmi. Also the prince's attorney and childhood friend, Thierry Lacoste, as well as many others. So lots of people believe that Albert was involved in the crimes too, or maybe he even initiated some of the deals. Prince Albert defended his employees until very recently. Only when the court case against them began in June was the monarch forced to fire some of his staff. According to insiders, the prince himself could face charges very soon. Whether His Serene Highness is to blame for the corruption scandals or not, that will decide the legal structures. But the fact that he is living an insanely lavish lifestyle is obvious. Albert is one of the wealthiest monarchs on the planet. His net worth is estimated to be around $1 billion, and his annual expenses are kept top secret. Apparently, the cost for his trips and luxurious celebrations would shock ordinary people. But all we know for sure is that the prince lives in one of the richest palaces in the world. Besides the state apartments, the 13th century property contains several towers, a chapel, and a very special throne room. Plus, there are many galleries, one of which is modeled after the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles. The real gem of the palace, though, is its courtyard. The prince even has a full-size zoo with 300 animals on his estate. The fact that Monaco is the second smallest state in the world makes Albert's home even more grand. And that's not the shady prince's only property. He also owns most of the buildings in Monaco, including the famous casino in Monte Carlo. Plus, dozens of mansions and commercial real estate around the world. Every year, the number of items on the list grows faster than the speed of light. So it seems like Prince Albert really has lots of things to hide, whether it comes to his private life, his state affairs, or even his money. We hope to uncover more details about the scandalous royal soon. For now, if you are interested in digging deeper into Albert's relationship with his wife, check out our next video, Princess Charlene of Monaco's Silent Cry for Aid.